7 carries last week.
Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins to the 1.
Bills' rush defense was great, relatively speaking. Does it count when it's the Dolphins' rush attack?
Mostert, good hit. Milano, no gain on the play.
This game should provide plenty of fireworks. Josh Allen lost a crazy intense game. Let's not get it twisted, though. Did I use that right? He threw for 400 yards, 2 TDs, no INTs.
Allen goes downfield, caught by McKenzie. 27-yard strike.
His arm must have been jello after, though. 63 pass attempts, just 6.3 yards per attempt. Still, Ravens have to be ready for a multi-layered passing attack. It starts with Stephon Diggs, of course, NFL leader in yards, 11 targets last week, 7 receptions.
Downfield, a catch made by Diggs.
74 yards isn't eyebrow-raising, though. Cornerback Xavier Howard gave him trouble to the end. Ravens have a couple corners that can do the same, maybe. Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, both with INTs last week.
Too tall and picked off. Marcus Peters floating end zone, picked off. Humphrey in the end zone.
Ravens secondary gave up some big plays to Mac Jones and Devontae Parker, but no touchdown passes allowed, 3 INTs, rating against 62.1.
Jones, end zone, Parker! Broken up at the last moment.
Allen has 4 other pass catchers that he utilizes regularly. Last week, Devin Singletary and Isaiah McKenzie catching his eye the most from that group.
Here they come. There he goes. Touchdown, McKenzie. Rolling and throwing Singletary. A career day catching.
Can the Ravens take advantage of a Buffalo O-line that's beat up? Part of this is the passing volume. 4 sacks taken against Miami, 10 QB hits allowed, 20 pressures allowed.
Here they come. Oh, he was hit from behind. It's loose.
Calais Campbell didn't sack anyone, but he pressured the QB 5 times. Baltimore's pass rush totaled 3 sacks and a nice 31.4 pressure rate.
Pressure coming on 3rd down and getting there. Patrick Queen sacks Jones.
Bills' run game can make a dent in this game, too. 5 yards per carry versus the Dolphins against a rush defense that gave up 5.1 a run in Week 3.
Gets loose here. Sets up 1st and goal.
There was nobody outside that had contained.
This is another one of those games that could be a playoff preview. Allen and Lamar have faced each other twice in their careers, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs. Each has a win. Who wins the rubber match? Keys to your car and the game, along with your scores, into the comments section. Our predictions onto the screen.
Hey, we got intruders in our house. Somebody came in our house and we invite them in. They want to take everything that we work for. They want to take everything that we know.
The reason I'm here, to help the passing game improve.
Just the extra time we've been putting in one-on-one when we can. And
they want to come and take over our field.
It's no surprise Mark Andrews has earned the spotlight in Baltimore. Since 2021, the Ravens tight end has led the team in target share, including this season, earning 36.5% of all of Lamar Jackson's passes. What is different is how much more of a downfield threat he's become. This season, nearly 20% of Andrews' targets have been deep passes. It's led to his air yards per target becoming 11.7, nearly a full yard longer than in any year of his career. Last week against New England, Andrews accounted for 52.5% of the Ravens' air yards, scoring 2 touchdowns in the victory.
Blitz pressure coming. Jackson lobs for the end zone. He's looking for Andrews. Reaches up. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Mark Andrews.
Since 2018, Andrews has 6 games where he's accounted for at least 50% of his team's air yard share. All other tight ends have 8 games of at least 50% of team air yard share. Andrews is also having a great season when it comes to catch rate over expected. This metric is simply the difference between a receiver's actual catch rate and expected catch rate, based on the difficulty of each target. Through 3 games, Andrews' number is plus 6.8%. Not only is that mark the highest among tight ends, it ranks 13th among all receivers in the NFL.
A pinpoint pass from Lamar Jackson and a powerful run after catch by Mark Andrews.
Andrews may very well be facing his toughest challenge against Buffalo. Since last year, the Bills' defense has given up the lowest completion percentage over expected to tight ends at minus 12.3%, roughly 2.5% better than the second-place Patriots. But Andrews has faced other stingy defenses before. Remember those 2 touchdowns and big air yard share? Well, all of that came against those second-place Patriots. With how Mark Andrews is working with Lamar Jackson and the rest of this Ravens offense, that spotlight is likely not dimming anytime soon.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. It'll be an early season matchup of potential MVP candidates when the 2 QBs square off in Baltimore on Sunday. In Allen, the Bills are riding the league's leader with 338 passing yards per game. He's top 5 in passer rating, completion percentage, and TD to INT ratio.
Play action, sets up deep. Takes a long look, fires down the left sideline, got a man down there, and he's caught by Kumaro, and he goes down.
He throws an absolute dime down the sideline. Perfectly thrown ball for the big game.
The Ravens counter with Jackson, whose 119 passer rating is the NFL's best, and who just threw 4 TD passes in a game for the first time in nearly a year. They won't be just doing it with their arms either. Allen's 113 rushing yards are the 4th most among QBs, and they're coming at the right times. He's tied for the NFL lead with 5 first downs above expectation, and he's picked up more yards than expected on 81.3% of his carries, the league's 2nd highest rate. Jackson has thrived on the ground too, with 151 rush yards over expectation, the most in the NFL. His plus 7.6 rush yards over expected per carry, more than double that of any other player in the league with 10 plus carries. With such a formidable foe, how might Allen attack Baltimore's secondary? Well, it's almost sure to include the deep ball. Allen leads the NFL in both passer rating and completion percentage on passes of 20-plus air yards. The Ravens are near the bottom of the league in both categories.
Tyreek Hill! And the Dolphins have come back!
They catch Baltimore in miscommunication, take advantage of it.
Allen loves finding openings outside the numbers too, where he has an NFL best 114 passer rating while averaging 8.6 yards per attempt, the 2nd best mark among qualified QBs. Baltimore is allowing 7.1 yards per attempt on throws outside the numbers, good for just 22nd in the NFL. Will the Ravens try blitzing as they've done on 23.6% of pass plays? Well, Allen might not mind, as he has a 144.7 passer rating and is one of 3 QBs with 4-plus TDs and 0 INTs against the blitz so far this season.
Out of the 15, Gabe Davis dragged down inside the 10.
Allen and Jackson have only faced each other twice before as starters. Jackson got the better in a 2019 regular season matchup before Allen exacted revenge in the 2020 playoffs. On Sunday afternoon, it's time for the rubber match. Buckle up. Buffalo goes from one big AFC showdown to another. The Bills in Baltimore this week to take on the Ravens. Bills defense having to find a way to slow another hot QB down with their banged up secondary.
Jackson back corner, Duvernay, perfect placement, touchdown.
Lamar Jackson has the glow. Like he's got hustle and ambition inside his DNA. He's got an NFL leading 10 TD passes in 3 games, threw 4 of them last week.
Jackson, end zone, touchdown!
Jackson's latest showing came while he faced plenty of heat, too. He got sacked 4 times.
Jackson slides up and goes down.
Buffalo has a great pass rush duo that can take advantage. Von Miller started the season with a 2-sack game. Quiet the last few weeks, though. Does it mean he's due? On the other side, it's Greg Rousseau. A sack and a half last week, has 1 in each game so far.
Here they come! Rousseau got him! He is an emerging star.
Again, though, sacks taken don't matter quite as much to Jackson due to style. What the Bills have to try and take away from him is Mark Andrews. It's remarkable, really. Entire stadium knows Andrews is getting the most looks. 13 targets versus New England, still has 8 catches, 89 yards, 2 TDs. The other receivers getting sprinkled in behind him.
Lofting for the end zone. Mark Andrews, he's got it. Touchdown, Baltimore. Jackson has time to find an open receiver and a first down. That's Devin Duvernay. Jackson again given time, finds the sideline, and Rashad Bateman made a man miss.
Bills' passing defense was made up of a lot of unexpected starters last week versus Tua. They didn't give up buco yards, but the receptions they allowed, big ones. Gave up a rating over 110, over 9 yards per attempt allowed. Couldn't stop him when it mattered most.
Oh, he's got Waddle! Inside the 10, 45 yards.
Safety Micah Hyde is done for the year. Injuries are lame. Maybe they get their other stud safety back for this one, Jordan Poyer. They could really use him for Andrews and for trying to contain Lamar when he takes off. He's coming into this matchup just as hot with his legs. Back-to-back 100-plus yard rush games for him now.
Jackson keeps it, has a first down, has a touchdown.
Ravens' rush attack got a shot in the arm beyond Jackson's explosiveness. J.K. Dobbins finally made it back. They're working him back in slowly, just 7 carries last week.
Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins to the 1.
Bills' rush defense was great, relatively speaking. Does it count when it's the Dolphins' rush attack?
Mostert's good hit. Milano, no gain on the play.
This game should provide plenty of fireworks. Josh Allen lost a crazy intense game. Let's not get it twisted, though. Did I use that right? He threw for 400 yards, 2 TDs, no INTs.
Allen goes downfield, caught by McKenzie. 27-yard strike.
His arm must have been jello after, though. 63 pass attempts, just 6.3 yards per attempt. Still, Ravens have to be ready for a multi-layered passing attack. It starts with Stephon Diggs, of course, NFL leader in yards, 11 targets last week, 7 receptions.
Downfield, a catch made by Diggs.
74 yards isn't eyebrow-raising, though. Cornerback Xavier Howard gave him trouble to the end. Ravens have a couple corners that can do the same, maybe. Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, both with INTs last week.
Too tall and picked off. Marcus Peters floating end zone, picked off. Humphrey in the end zone.
Ravens secondary gave up some big plays to Mac Jones and Devontae Parker, but no touchdown passes allowed. 3 INTs, rating against 62.1.
Jones end zone, Parker broken up at the last moment.
Allen has 4 other pass catchers that he utilizes regularly. Last week, Devin Singletary and Isaiah McKenzie catching his eye the most from that group.
Here they come. There he goes. Touchdown McKenzie. Rolling and throwing Singletary. A career day catching.
Can the Ravens take advantage of a Buffalo O-line that's beat up? Part of this is the passing volume. 4 sacks taken against Miami, 10 QB hits.